Hi, my name is Arindam Mitra, and I am one of the speakers in Azure Back to School. Extremely delighted that I got the opportunity to present my work in Azure Back to School community. Huge thank you to Dwayne and Derek for providing me this opportunity to present my work. Thank you so very much. Um, my topic of discussion and the demo which I'm going to show in this session is about Terraform plan, which I published in Devops GUI. So this whole session, this whole blog, I wrote it in like two-part series. One when where I mean in both the template, I mean like in both the blog posts, it's doing exactly the same, but in the first part, I'm using a single pipeline with multiple stages. But in the next part of the series, I have broken the multiple stage pipelines into templates and Azure DevOps templates, and then I'm using to publish. I'm doing the same thing of publishing the plan in DevOps GUI. But in this session, what I'm going to discuss with you is a single pipeline with the multiple stages, and here I will demonstrate that how to publish a Terraform plan in DevOps GUI. Before I start, a little introduction about myself. My name is Arindam Mitra, as you can see here. Um, I have overall of 16 years of experience. I am currently located in Switzerland, and I'm working as Azure Solutions Architect and a DevOps Architect. You can follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Sessionize, GitHub, Facebook. I have my email address written down here. Feel free to get in touch with me and connect with me. I have also written a little bit overall stats about myself, that I have published altogether 20 blogs. I basically blog on Azure DevOps, automation, build, run, GitHub Actions, PowerShell, Azure CLI, um, um, and of course Azure DevOps Terraform. So I typically try to write all automations, everything over DevOps. So this is what I is my core strength, I would say. And then I have spoken I spoke about my topics in like 7 times till now. So there are altogether total number of speaker sessions 7, and I have presented my work in 5 different communities. All the names of the communities are listed below. Here is my LinkedIn profile. Feel free to connect with me. I'm also there on Twitter. I normally tweet about my blogs. Whenever I publish my blog, I normally publish it in LinkedIn, and then I tweet it in Twitter. Uh, I have, as I mentioned in my GitHub profile, I have a sessionized speaker profile where I keep this updated in order for that when I am applying for any kind of a speaker session, and then the organizer or the owner of the community can see my work and validate, and if that can be helpful for the deaf community. So without any wasting further time, let's jump into the blog part. So let me explain a little bit about what I'm going to present today. So when you run a Terraform, either when you're running the Terraform either by Azure DevOps Pipeline or maybe GitHub Actions, or if you're running Terraform manually by running the command init plan and apply, the plan you see, if you are running it manually, then you see it in the terminal. If you're running over Azure DevOps or maybe GitHub Action, you can see it as a task output, but you see it on the terminal side. With this automation, what I have done is I'm publishing the plan so that it gives you the flexibility to see the plan in the DevOps GUI in the graphical user interface, and not in the terminal or as a pipeline result. This is what is the automation all about. So if I scroll down a little bit, so then you can see that this is the first look. This is a sneak peek that how the Terraform plan looks in the DevOps GUI. Okay. So here you see that I'm trying to deploy a resource group and log in analytics workspace. This is exactly the example which we are going to take while doing the demo. And here you see that the two resource which is getting deployed, the plan which you see in the terminal or as a pipeline result, you see it in the DevOps GUI. So this is a sneak peek. In the requirements, the rest of the requirements, I'm pretty sure everybody knows. You need, of course, an Azure subscription. You need a DevOps organization. You need a project, DevOps project. You need a service principal, which has to be configured in DevOps as a service connection so that it can integrate Azure and DevOps together. And then the most important requirement is the Azure Pipelines Terraform Task extension, which is developed by Charles Zip. That extension has to be installed in the Azure DevOps organization, because this extension gives me the ability to publish the Terraform plan in DevOps GUI. Moving down, here's my code repository. I have put the code repository out here. So if I go to my GitHub, if I go to my repository and just search in my repository as Terraform. So if you search by Terraform, then you see that on 31st of May, I have published this blog, and also the code I have put it in the GitHub. Now, if you scroll down a little bit, you see that you have a README file. So this README file and the blog is exactly identical. All my blogs are basically version control. That is why you can read either from GitHub or you can read from my blog site. So this is the most important thing. Then if I flip back to my blog again, so I scroll down, and this is what I was talking about. So here you have the link of the extension, the marketplace extension. So you have the link for that. You can get the Charles Zip Terraform extension from this marketplace link. This is how it looks. The name is Azure Pipelines Terraform Task. So this gives you the ability to publish the Terraform plan into the DevOps GUI. Once you have installed on your organization, in your DevOps organization, this is how it looks. Also, I normally place a small screenshot that how my code looks in my local environment, so that it gives everybody an idea that okay, yeah, when I'm doing it in my environment, you can correlate. It becomes very easy. So that is why I put a small screenshot regarding how my code placeholder looks like. Objective of the automation, very simple. We try to deploy resource group and login analytics workspace during this whole action. Since there will be new resources going to be deployed, of course it will be reflected in the plan. Once it is reflected in the plan, we try to publish in the DevOps GUI so that not only we see it as a pipeline output, but we also see it as a in the DevOps GUI, which is the purpose of the whole automation. This is the entire YAML pipeline which I wrote. I will explain you later each part by part that what the whole pipeline is doing. So this is how the runtime parameter looks like. But before we jump into this, what I will do is I will go to the GitHub. I will open the pipeline, and I will explain first the pipeline, and then we'll flip back to the blog. So as you can see, I have put the trigger as none, which means that I'm running the pipeline manually. There is nothing like if I'm committing it to the main branch, or maybe a pull request is triggering the pipeline to run. So none means that I'm running everything manually. Cool. Now next is the DevOps runtime parameters. So these are like pre-populated runtime parameters which I'm using. I'm using one of the parameters for my environment, and the second parameter I'm using it as for the deployment. So I've defined some variables which are used below in the pipeline. So that is why I have defined it here, so that the entire pipeline is either using parameters or it is using the variables, which means that I just have to change the values out here or maybe tweak some values in parameters, and I don't have to do anything else in the pipeline stages. Now, the build agent which I'm using is Ubuntu latest, which is the Microsoft hosted build agent. So that is what I'm using to run my pipeline. This is a 3-stage pipeline. The first stage is publish, the second stage is build, the third stage is deploy. So in the publish stage, what I am doing is I'm trying to publish the Terraform plan to Devops GUI. How I am doing it is, I'll be explaining it now. The first is very simple, that I am trying to install the Terraform in the build agent. And while I'm installing, you see that I am giving the full name of the Terraform installer. Why I'm doing it? It's very simple. Initially, I told you that there is a specific extension which I have to install. Otherwise, you will not be able to publish the Terraform plan in Devops GUI. So let's look back. So I will go to the organization. Once I go to the organization, I go to organization settings. Once I go to the organization settings, I click on extensions. Now here you see in the extensions that I have two different extensions. If I click the extension in the below, so this is the Microsoft Dev Labs Terraform extension. Okay, and if I select this one, this is the extension which is built by a publisher named Charles Zip. And this is the extension which is giving me the ability to publish Terraform plan in Devops GUI. But when I'm running a pipeline task, when I'm running a Terraform pipeline task, how will the pipeline determine that whether this extension is from Microsoft Dev Labs or whether this extension is from the publisher Charles Zip? And this is what we are doing it here. So by providing the full name, you come to know that okay, you are using the Microsoft Dev Labs or you are using Charles Zip's Terraform extension. That is why we have to do it. If you are not specifying it, the pipeline throws an error. And that error is also documented in my blog, which we'll see it later. Now, the next step is that we are installing the Terraform installer in the build agent. Then we are initializing the Terraform by running the Terraform init command, followed by the Terraform validate command. Once that we are validating the Terraform command, and finally we are publishing the Terraform. How we are doing it? It's very simple, that we are using this publish plan result parameter here to publish the Terraform plan to Azure DevOps GUI. So this is how we are doing it. The next stage is build. Again, in the build stage, we are using the same thing. We are using the full name of the Terraform installer. Then we are running the Terraform init initialization. You see out here. We are again running the Terraform validate, and then we are again running the Terraform plan. But in the build phase, when we are running the Terraform plan, we are not using the same publish plan result. We are not doing it here in the build stage. We are just simply running the Terraform plan. Okay. And then finally, after running the plan, we are storing the Terraform plan. We are outputting the Terraform plan to a text file which is named tf plan. Once we do that, what we are doing is we are copying all the Terraform related files, including the Terraform plan output. We are copying it to the artifacts staging directory. So once we copy that to the staging directory, we are then publishing the whole bundle as artifacts. So they're then publishing the entire bundle of Terraform files and plans and all things from the artifact staging directory, and then we are publishing it. So why we are publishing it? Because once we publish it, then and only then this will be downloaded in the deploy stage, which we'll see it in few minutes. So this is about the build stage. Now we move to the deploy stage. When we move to the deploy stage, it means that that in order for the deploy stage to work, it has to first meet all the three conditions, because here we are using a logical and when we are using logical and, all the conditions has to be met. So the first condition is succeeded, which means that the previous stage needs to be successful. If it fails, deploy will not work. The next stage, the next condition, sorry, is like, when during the runtime parameter, like, when we are executing the pipeline, so you get the runtime parameters, so it should select the deploy. In our case, we have only one selection, so we don't need to worry. But in case if you want to have multiple selections, then in that case you have to be very, very clear that you have to select deploy option. Only then the deploy will work. The deploy stage will work, because this is put in the condition that when the user inputs deploy, then it meets one of the condition. And finally, the code should be checked out from the main branch. It shouldn't be done from the feature or any dev branch. So if you're running the pipeline from any dev branch or any feature branch, deploy will not work. So it has to be executed from main branch. If all these three conditions are successful, deploy still proceeds. Once the deploy stage proceeds, the first thing, it will then wait for the approval, because here we have configured environment. And once we have configured environment, you see in the line number 158. So the approvals are attached to the environment, which means that, once the conditions are passed, met, then it will wait for the approval. So as an approver, my name is there as an approver, so I have to approve the pipeline, and then the deployment begins. The first task of the deployment is to download the artifacts which was published in the build stage. Once it is downloaded, then what we do is we initialize the Terraform, and then we run the Terraform apply command. And the files which are being used are the same files which got downloaded from the artifacts. So this is all about the pipeline, that how it works. Now we flip back to Terraform plan block site. So as I explained you, this is how the Terraform plan looks like. This is how the runtime parameters looks like when you execute the pipeline. No user input required, as rightly mentioned. These are all the variables which are being declared, and this is what I tried to explain, that we don't have to touch the logic of the pipeline, because you just need to tweak the value of parameters or of the variables, and everything should work seamlessly. As explained previously, this is a three-stage pipeline: publish, and then we have plan, and then we have publish, we have build, and then we have deploy. Here I have mentioned, as I mentioned, that why I'm putting the full name of the installer. I have written down that I have written down exactly the same which I explained, that we have two different extensions, and if we are not giving or providing the full name of Terraform installer, then we encounter the following error, which is referred in the screenshot. Okay. I also put together the difference between both extensions. I have put together a table that if you are using the Terraform extension from Charles Zip, then which are the places where you have to make changes in YAML. So this comparison should be very, very helpful. That gives a difference that if you are switching from Microsoft DevLabs Terraform extension to Charles Zip's custom Terraform extension, then what all parameters in the YAML you have to change in order for the other to work. So this table I have put together. Have a read, and if something is not understandable, then please write me back. And then finally, this is again the build stage. So in the build stage is again what I explained you, a little bit about what the stage is doing. This is exactly what I explain to it that it is actually installing the Terraform, then it is running the init command, it is validating Terraform, and then it is running the Terraform plan. Without in the build stage, we are no more publishing the Terraform plan, so it's just like plain simple Terraform plan is executed, and after that, all the Terraform related files, including the Terraform plan, is copied to artifact staging directory from where it is published, okay, as an artifacts. And finally, we move to the deploy stage where we have conditions which we already know that previously in the previous stage has to be successful. There is one option which needs to be selected, which is a part of the DevOps runtime parameter, and the pipeline should run from the main branch. Otherwise, the deploy stage fails. There is also one approval attached to the environment, so I know we have to approve. Otherwise, the deploy stage doesn't proceed. And then we download the artifacts, and then we use the Terraform apply command to deploy the Azure resources. This is a little bit about all the Terraform code. So this is the main file where we have all the backend state versions and all. This is again the log.terraform tf file where we have the logic, or we have the code of deploying a resource group in a log analytics workspace. And this is the variable files, and then we have the tf-var files, which actually holds the key value pair. So the variable name and the value of the variable that is mentioned in the tf-vars. Okay, so when we run this whole pipeline, of course, the desired result is that all the three stages gets deployed or completed successfully, and we see the Terraform plan in the Devops code. Okay, so this is what I explained to you now. You can see it in all the screenshot. So we keep it here, and then we come back again. So now, moment of truth. Now we go back and we run the pipeline to see that whatever I explained, is that the reality or not. So I go to pipeline, and I have a separate folder which is called publish tf pipeline. Once so what I will do is I will simply run this, and then I will run the pipeline. So I have just moved myself a little bit here, and then I run the pipeline. And before you run, you can quickly check here that how many stages are there. So I have 3 stages, which I explained a few moments back. Now I will run the pipeline, and let's see that if what I explained is what we see now. So the published plan is now complete, and if you see that it is reflecting that we have 2 Azure resources which will be deployed. Now, since the published plan is completed, what we can do is we can go back here, and then you can see that there is a separate tab here, Terraform plan, beside the summary. Okay, I cannot select, so I hope you can see the Terraform plan tab. So if I click on this one, you see that the plan which you were seeing as a pipeline result task, that you can see it in the Devops GUI. This is exactly the thing. So this gives a better view of everything, and I found it to be very, very useful. Now I go back. Now you see that my build is also successful. So it has built everything, published, it has copied files to artifact staging directory, it has published artifacts, and now my pipeline is waiting for me for approval. So which means that in the deploy stage, all the three conditions are met, and after that, it is waiting for the approval. What I will do is I will quickly put a comment and I will approve the pipeline. Till the time it is getting deployed, I will show you that what do you mean by when you publish artifacts. So here you see that one published. I will click on one published. You see these are the folders, folder names which I have been using in the variables and been referencing it. And you see that all the files which was there in the repository are these files are then copied along with Terraform plan. So along with Terraform plan and all the Terraform related files all are being bundled together, copied to the artifact staging directory, and then published as an artifacts. So this is what I meant by publishing to artifacts. If I go here, I see the deployment is still ongoing. And you see that my publish plan and my deploy plan, everything is successful. So if you see here, my deploy is also successful. Let's check in the Azure portal. So if I go Azure portal, I refresh it. You see that AM test RG100 got created, and I have a log analytics workspace inside it. So this is how. So this is what I meant by when you're deploying it, you also have the ability to view the Terraform plan into the Azure Devops GUI. Saying this, the most important observation is that you cannot publish a Terraform plan if there is no infrastructure changes detected. Okay, this is the most important part. This is what I wrote in my blog, that either something needs to be added to the existing infrastructure, or something needs to be changed, or something needs to be destroyed. If you are performing these operations, only then will you will be able to publish the Terraform plan into the DevOps GUI. Otherwise, it will not publish anything in the DevOps GUI. So let's demonstrate that. Now I know that my infrastructure, my resource group and log analytics is already deployed. I'm not making any changes in the Terraform code. What I'm going to do is I'm simply going to run the file again. Run the pipeline again. So now I don't have any infrastructure changes. Okay, I don't have any infrastructure changes. Now I will see that whether or not my plan gets published or not. Okay, so now you see that I have no changes in the infrastructure. Okay, I have no changes. Now I will see my build running. Okay, till the time it is running, let it run, because I can still see my if the Terraform plan got published in GUI or not. Ideally it should not. If I click on Terraform plan, you see there is no Terraform plans has been published for this pipeline run. So this is exactly the thing. If there is no infrastructure change found, no matter you run this whole pipeline multiple times, you cannot see any Terraform plan in the DevOps GUI. So this is what I tried, I was trying to explain. So we have this thing, so nothing will be deployed, it's just running the whole pipeline one whole time, because the plan says that there is no infrastructure changes. So now I said that, you need to add, or you need to destroy, or you need to make some changes in the infrastructure in order to publish the Terraform plan in the DevOps GUI. So we have seen that, we have added resource group and log analytics, and that is why the Terraform plan got published in DevOps GUI. We also ran the pipeline making no changes, and then we saw that, okay, if there is no infrastructure changes, you cannot publish Terraform plan in DevOps GUI. Okay. Now, the final thing what we are going to do is we are simply going to go here in the Terraform things, and I will go here. I will simply go and I will start putting comments here. So I will comment the entire code. So what does it mean when I'm commenting the whole code? It means that Terraform will be seeing this as a destroy operation. So since now I have commented everything, you see that I have commented the entire lines of code. Now let me first commit it. Let me put a little bit here. Good. Let's commit it. So now I have committed. I have already committed to my main branch. I don't need to have the pull request and everything. So now you see that I have commented all the codes. So there is nothing to be done here. Okay. So once this is done, now I have committed to the main branch, and now what I will do is I will go there and I will go here. I will go to the same pipeline. I will run the pipeline again. Just remove a little bit here, and then I will run it, and then we see. So Terraform plan is now taking a little bit of time, and I could see something in a flash. And you see that I have two to destroy, because what I did is I commented the code, which is an instruction to Terraform that, okay, this is, I want to destroy this thing. Now, since I have a destroy action, it means that now it should be published in the DevOps GUI. This plan should be in DevOps GUI. Let's see. So now if I go and click on Terraform plan, you see that it is publishing that will be the destroy action. So that I complete the enter exercise, I will put a comment, I will approve, and all the resources should now be, so the resource group and the log analytics workspace should be deleted. Let's see. Awesome. So now my deploy is also completed, which means that my resources are. I'll go back here and we'll just refresh it. You see that AM test 100 resource group is gone with the. So in summary, you need the special extension from the child zip. That is point one in order to publish the Terraform plan into Devops GUI. The second is that if you have multiple Terraform extension, you have to use the full name of the extensions in order to avoid the error. Third is like add, change, and destroy operation only will let you publish the Terraform plan in Devops GUI. If there is no infrastructure changes, you cannot publish a plan. That's in a nutshell the whole summary. Feel free to read my blog and try this out. I hope you like this whole automation. As I said, this is a 2 series blog. The next series, is exactly the same automation, but using Azure DevOps templates. So you see that I have now one pipeline with 3 stages. Then that what I did is like I took the stages in different pipeline files. I made templates. So this is again a different approach of doing this automation using templates. So this is the second part of the series. This is not the scope of this session, but feel free to read both the series if you like. Please please put a comment, and if you really like the automation of mine, please follow me over GitHub. On that note, thank you so much. I hope you liked the session. Hopefully it was informative. Feel free to write me, subscribe me, connect with me. And before I sign off, again, a big, huge thank you to Dwayne and Derek for giving me the opportunity. And again, thank you. See you. Bye.